Hey everyone. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to use synthetic division to divide a polynomial by a binomial. Now, synthetic division uses the coefficients of your dividend as well as reversing the sign of your divisor, or really using the root of your divisor to solve for our polynomial answer. All right, so you're going to use these coefficients and our root of our divisor. And then we're going to use a combination of multiplication and addition to solve for our final answer. All right, so let's take a look at this. Okay, there's kind of a very specific process when you're doing these. So the first thing you want to do again is to look at your divisor, x minus 3, and I'm going to use the opposite sign, or really what is our root. And then I'm going to list our coefficients right in order here. Your polynomial that you're dividing must be written in standard form. Okay, so I have a 2x to the third, so it's going to be a 2. I have a negative 5x squared, so it's negative 5. I have a 1x, so that's going to be a 1. And then I have a negative 7. All right, now this is where our actual process of solving this starts. I'm going to bring down my first number. And now I'm going to multiply this bottom number times our divisor. So 2 times 3, and I'm going to write my answer underneath my next term. So 2 times 3 is going to be 6, and I'm going to write it underneath my next term. All right, I'm going to combine my terms here, 6 and negative 5. That's going to give me a 1. And I'm going to repeat this process over and over. So again, 1 times 3, that's going to give me 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. And 4 times 3 is going to give me 12. And I'm going to list that as my last one. 12 and a negative 7, that's going to combine and give me a positive 5. Okay, now your final answer here, especially when it's set up like this, is going to have your term be 1 less than your greatest exponent in your polynomial. All right, so here it's going to be an x squared is going to be our largest term. So we're going to start by writing 2x squared plus 1x plus 4. And then our last term here is going to be our remainder, which you're going to write over your divisor, just like you do when you're doing the long division. So it would be 5 over, and then our x minus 3, again coming from right there. And there's my final answer. All right, let's take a look at another example. Okay, so again, first thing I want to do is write my opposite sign of my divisor. So x plus 3 is going to become a negative 3. That's pretty much, again, the root. And now I'm going to set up my question here. All right, so I have 2x to the third. So I put a 2. I have 5x squared. Put a 5. Now here, if you notice, it jumps from x squared to not having an x. That means we're missing our x to the first term, or our x term. Okay, so what that means is we're just going to put a 0x as a placeholder. So it's just going to be a 0 as where our x term would go. And then we have our 9. All right, same process. Bring down the first number. That's going to be 2. And now we want to start multiplying and adding. So 2 times negative 3 is going to give me negative 6. Combine those terms, we get a negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 3 is going to give me a positive 3. 3 plus 0 is 3. And 3 times negative 3 is going to give me a negative 9. 9 minus 9, 0. And we have our coefficients for our answer. All right, again, largest one we have here is x to the third. So we're going to have an x squared as our biggest one here. So it's going to be 2x squared minus 1x plus 3. And because we have 0 as our remainder, that means that we don't have a remainder. So that's going to be our final answer right here. So here's an example of one that does not have a remainder. All right, so that's pretty much the process for synthetic division. You can pretty much follow that process with each of these kinds of questions. Notice in synthetic division, our leading coefficients for our divisor were 1. That tends to be what happens with these kinds. Otherwise, you could use long division as well.